of the things, obviously it's always very politicized how you manage the economy, especially so right now. And one thing fascinates me in transitioning from, essentially the Fed, where if you raise an eyebrow, the markets move, and it's supposed to be a very sober, almost apolitical role, to Treasury Secretary, where, it's seen in many ways to be an extension of the president. Has she always been viewed as somebody who is essentially in the Democrats' camp, or is that the wrong way to kind of see the current role that she's in?
She's very clearly a Democrat. She always has been. She's got kind of progressive views. I think when she was at the Fed, though, she wasn't Democrat as much as technocrat.
Right.
The Fed has a very clear mandate, which is to keep inflation under control at around 2% a year, and under those conditions to get unemployment as low as possible. It's a pretty simple job. At the Treasury, she's part of a political administration, as she was in the Clinton White House when she served in the CDA.
Right. Yeah.
And frankly, she wasn't very comfortable at it in the Clinton White House, and she hasn't been terribly comfortable at it in the Biden White House. She seems like maybe she's starting to get a hang of it, but she's a lot more comfortable in the job of technocrat than she is as Democrat. But, by the way, on this issue of politics, one of the lessons I come away from in writing this story about her and the global economy is that, we've had so many political debates about the economy, and, Democrats want to spend more, and conservatives, Republicans want to tax less, and free markets and regulation and all this. What I come away with when I trace her story and I think about how the economy got into this difficult place right now, it's not politics that jumps out at me. It's actually hubris and human judgment and misjudgment. I kind of
hubris on whose part? Does she demonstrate hubris, or is she essentially coping with the hubris of others?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, she demonstrates something that I call recency bias. So, I put my finger on three events that threw the economy off course in the last 25 years. One was letting China into the global trading system without putting up safeguards for American workers. The other was the global financial crisis in the 2000s. And the last was COVID and its inflation implications. In every one of those cases, the policy prescriptions were different, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. But in every one of those cases, there was some skeptic on the sideline saying, we got to think a little differently about how we handle this. Things can go wrong. And in every one of those cases, the economics profession kind of was stuck in an old way of thinking and just kind of fought the last war. And each one of those, and I can get into this if you want, in each one of those cases, something went wrong, but it wasn't politics. It was kind of applying lessons from previous wars. I'll give you an example right now. And I've gotten into this in the book and also some of my reporting in the Wall Street Journal. The Republican Party and the Democratic Party, the Federal Reserve and the Biden administration kind of fought the war of the 2008 financial crisis in dealing with the COVID crisis. They pumped a lot of money into the financial system, as they did after 2008, thinking that they had a problem with too little demand and that they needed to jumpstart the economy to keep unemployment low. But, and Larry Summers was the skeptic on the sideline saying, don't do this, it won't work in this instance. And they were like, no, this is what worked last time and we've got to do it again. And we see that kind of thinking over and over again. And Yellen has been a part of that. She was very much a part of that now. I'll give you one other example. After the 2008, going into the 2008 financial crisis, Alan Greenspan and the Fed thought it was okay to leave banks alone because, we had a tech bubble that burst and the banks came out of it fine. They used derivatives to manage their risk. And he was like, the banks can manage their own risk. We don't have to worry about them. Some economists said, no, we got to be careful about this. It was dismissed and we got a financial crisis. So it's really, for me, what comes out of this is judgment, human judgment. How do you look at the problems of today? And I think that's the lesson that we get out of the economic story of